I'd like to invite Mr. Byung Hoon of K Shipbuilding. His presentation is titled "The Development of Maritime Safety and Disaster Prevention." Safety innovations through the design and application of cyber resilience in Smartship. And he is responsible for cybersecurity at K Building. And he is working on the digital transformation of the ships built by the K Shipbuilding and related projects for the application of ship optimization. Please welcome him with a big hand.
Good afternoon. As you introduced, I am Byung Hoon from K Shipbuilding. So today I would like to talk about safety innovation through the design and application of cyber resilience in smart ships. But before that, for those who are not familiar with K Shipbuilding, let me briefly introduce my organization. So our predecessor is the Aztec Shipbuilding, and recently it got renamed. So together with the Daehan Shipbuilding and the Forstech, the K Shipbuilding is the subsidiary of KHI, and we are engaged in the LNG bunkering business as well as the midship manufacturing, and we also develop various alternative fuel. Here, this vessel, this is the LNG bunker vessel, and while the other vessels are powered by oil and fuels, but this one is powered by LNG. And this bunkering vessel is to provide the LNG supplies for other vessels to be operated. And here you see the numbers in relation with automation. And you can see that this bunkering vessel is highly automated already. In the previous session, as Mr. Lim from the Abacus mentioned, so in ship navigation, we already have a system just like the ADAS for ground vehicles. And from the departure place to the destination, the route of the ships are already optimized even without human intervention. So this indicates a lot of achievements that we have made in terms of automation. Here you see some keywords in relation with the maritime digital transformation. I believe that these words are already covered in the previous session as well. And in particular, when it comes to field, the issue that draws a lot of attention is the emergence of Starlink. So the existing communication environment is based on the 100 megabits BPS, but then now we have a 150 megabps, 100 times faster than previous speed. This has become a reality, and as a result, the various data and services can be accumulated and also provided at a faster speed with this advanced telecommunication system. Now, I would like to touch upon the threat of cyber attacks. Here, if you look at this table, this is the WF or Davos Forum table. And in Davos Forum, the heads of states and also business leaders come together for the conference and discussion. And they also have discussions on the crisis that the whole world is now facing today. And here you can see the outcome of that discussion. And you can see that the living expenditure or cost of living crisis, that's the number one crisis that people all agree. And the cyber attack and cyber insecurity is the number 7 crisis. And especially for business leaders, non-government officers, this ranks 4th in terms of the severity of the crisis. And this indicates that the cybercrime and the cyber insecurity can affect not only the cyber industries, but it actually has a widespread ripple effects that affect other industries as well. Here you see several numbers on the atlas, and this indicates number of cyber attack accidents. So here you see the MCAD system, and the Netherlands NHL State University developed this system from 2001 to today. It calculates the number of the marine cyber attack accident, and you can see that total 160 cyber attacks happen in the maritime sectors, including the port, the register, and you can see that virtually in all different categories of the maritime industries, the cyber attack occurred, which lead to substantial economic loss. And also the geopolitical location is critical. In particular, in conflicted areas, there are more attacks. And in that sense, Korea is very vulnerable to cybersecurity. Earlier, North Korea launched the cyber attack in order to steal Korea's submarine technology. They failed, but they tried to attack the shipbuilders of Korea. But thanks to the efforts of the National Intelligence Service, their attempts went down the drain. But here you can see that South Korea is number 2 in terms of the countries that are attacked with the cyber threats, only followed by the U.S. So if ships are under attack, if ships are under cyber attack, then what kind of accidents can take place? So here you can see some potential threat scenarios for a ship. And here you see these 3 different categories. And these 3 categories are actually something that have already been tried out by the terrorist organizations. So number 1 is about the ballast water management system, and this is to strike the balance for the vessel. But then here you see that the water moves to one direction in order to cause the capsizing of the vessel. And also there is a navigation system, and somehow it can cause the disturbances in navigation system and therefore rerouting the vessel. Or let's say that there is the automation system, and with this attack, the system got disturbed and fell down, and therefore the operator cannot guide the vessel in the direction that he wants. So in order to respond to these maritime cyber threats, each country has come up with the different rules and recommendations. From 2017, you can see the various regulations have come into effect. There are no binding regulations, but as of 2022, the IACS, the Register Association, they established the binding regulations. And also the EU, they have already implemented very strong policies against cyber threats. The von der Leyen, the president of the EU Council, said that we have to have the 6 policy priorities for the cyber security. And as a result, the EU NISS regulation came out. So by 2024 and 2025, the regulation will come into effect and become mandatory for everybody to follow. So, and it is applicable to the transportation and energy sector. And as for the ships, we don't have the regulation being developed yet. But maybe smart ships and autonomous ships, as well as the cyber attack and digital services. In relation with the ships, I believe that they will be subject to the strong regulation regulated by EU NISS, and if they fail to comply with that, then they have to pay the penalty of 100,000 euro. And this is the IACS, International Association of the Classification Society, and from 2020 they came up with a recommendation, and starting from next year, so the ships that will be constructed next year, this safety regulation will be applicable. And K Shipbuilding, we try to proactively respond to these growing maritime cyber threats, and also in order to establish the Korean version of the standards, we have launched a joint development project together with the Korea Register, Forstack, the Fortinet, and also the Igloo, which is a #1 vendor for security solution in Korea. And from January to June this year, we implemented this project. And finally, in July, we produced the final outcome, which was approved by the government, or the KR. From 2016, the KR established the cybersecurity task force team in order to develop various approval programs and certificate programs for cybersecurity. And I understand that the Korea Register is one of the classification organization that has a very large database on this issue. And here you see the design that we developed for cybersecurity. So the #1 is the configuration management. So the main engines and the other components that go into ships, they have to be managed through the PLM solution. But as for softwares, it's not regarded as an important asset for a ship. And it's not regarded as a crucial system for the ship. But then, from now on, we now gradually recognize the importance of software, and therefore software configuration management, like starting from update to OS management. And for the entirety, here you can see that the processes have to be recognized and categorized. And here you see the cybersecurity network diagram, and we analyzed that, and together with KR, we identify vulnerabilities as well as areas for improvement, and also how we ensure strong resilience and reflect that in our design. And here you see the outcome. So this is the network monitoring system that we designed, and you can see that we actually provide the governance and control for all vessels, and also with this firewall that you see, we were able to reinforce our resilience. And we did the test based on our predefined plan, and this test can be conducted not just by the experts, but even the layperson. They can perform tests and address the issues if they find anything. And here you see the procedures that we went through. And so at the end, we developed this kind of monitoring system, the control system. And we have 5 different kinds of the manuals being produced. And each manual contains 300 pages of content, starting from the management of the vessels to the restoration and decommissioning. And this is the last part of my presentation, that the vessels and ships are becoming digitalized. And as a result, and also they will pursue decarbonization more and more, and this will inevitably lead to more data. And as mentioned by previous speakers, digitalization and decarbonization are something that should go hand in hand. And in the energy sector, I believe that they also understand the importance that these two should go in tandem. And that's why they developed the 3D energy grid in order to pursue the digital decarbonization and decentralization for industrial transformation. And this is something that I would like to deliver as my message, a key takeaway. Whether it's the digital or digitalization or decarbonization, none of them can be pursued single-handedly. Even if we create the vessels with a very, very strong cyber resilience, if the users intend, let's say that if the users deliberately avoid the safety system and try to break that, then I believe that there will be no perfect cybersecurity solution. And therefore, the stakeholders in the maritime security industry, they have to understand the importance of security and also strengthen the efforts to foster the relevant talent. And also we have to make sure that each system that we have should fully recognize any kind of cyber threat. So digitalization and decarbonization, as I said earlier, they should go hand in hand, and not a single entity can address this issue, and therefore everyone involved in different industries, they have to do their best to address this issue so that we can be all in the same page and we can all enjoy safe and secure environment that could be beneficial for everyone. And with that, let me conclude my presentation. Thank you.
네,
Thank you, Dr. Lim, for your insightful presentation. Well, now I can see the perils of cyber attack in relation to the maritime environment. If any vessel stops in the middle of the sea, especially in the high sea, and there is no way for that vessel to resume its operation without any external assistance. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Now I'd